the same job, but we're part of a team, and there's employment advisors in every job centre. Now, our job role is to liaise with employers and providers and sort of bring the business in and sort of fact find and find out what you want and how we can support you. Then we liaise with the work coaches, so we're sort of the middleman between yourselves and the work coaches who have direct contact with the claimants, the people who claim benefit. So we would obviously give you advice on on your recruitment, how to advertise, and what we have is, I don't know if anybody's used it, it's the Universal Job Match system. It is a free system, it's 24/7 access, it's self-service. I will be honest with you, it's not the most user-friendly system in the world. When you get access to it via gov.uk website, if you haven't used it before, you need to register, and you click on the Start Now button and you fill your details in, and you get what's called a government gateway number. That's your code to be able to use it. What I will say, you need to make sure you keep that secure and safe, because we don't have access to it. So if you lose it or you forget it, we can't sort of tell you what it is. You'd have to go via the website, and they would reset your password and reset your government gateway number. You can advertise the jobs yourselves on there. As I say, it's free to use, 24 hours a day. Input your jobs, suspend them, amend them, close them down, reopen them, whatever you want. The way the system works, when you put your jobs on, it asks for about half a dozen keywords, and then what that does, it matches the keywords that you input to the keywords on people's CVs. So it will alert the job seekers that you as an employer has put the jobs on, plus also you'll have access to see there's X amount of people who have CVs with those keywords. You can't get access to the CVs, or it tells you that it might say there's 20 people have matched your keywords. We do recommend you use the Government Gateway cloud system for people to apply, it's called apply by the Gateway system, because if they're sending the CVs through to your personal or your company email box, it can quickly clog your systems up if you get lots of emails through. If you apply via the Universal Job Match, the Gateway, the tools in the cloud, don't ask me what that means, I just know it's a magic cloud somewhere, and you can get access to them, and it's not pulling on your resource for your IT. If you're not sure how it works, by all means give us a ring, one of your employment advisors, and we can certainly talk you through it, give you advice on sort of the job description or what you should be putting in to obviously attract the best candidates. I've been in the department 30 years. Out of that, I think I've done 20 years on employee liaison. So all my career in the job centre's been working with employers more or less. So I've got quite a wealth of knowledge on that side. So moving on from there, we also have a range of options for people to help them get back into work if they're not quite job ready. So you might be advertising a job, and you've done your recruitment, and what we can offer is what we call a work trial. So after you've done your recruitment and your interviews, and you think, I'm 99% certain I've found the right person, but you might just have a niggle in the back of your mind, and you think, I'm not really sure. I'm 99% certain, but I'm not quite there. We can offer a work trial. Now, work trial gives you as an employee the opportunity to test the person out, and it also gives them, the person, the opportunity to make sure that you are right for them as well, and they're making the right career choice, the right employer choice. When they're on a work trial, you don't pay them any wages while they're on a work trial. But simply what it means is they don't sign off benefits. So if for whatever reason it doesn't work out for either side, they're not penalised, so they haven't lost the claim to benefit. And that's one of the big things. If somebody has been claiming for a period and they're getting housing benefit and council tax, if they close the claim down, it can take up to 8 weeks, and that's one of the big things that sort of tends to put people off applying for jobs. So we try to work around that. So what the government have introduced is universal credit. It's slowly being rolled out. That's at the moment in our area. It's only for people who are single non-householders. So they're rolled out in stages. On universal credit, they don't close the claim down for 6 months while they're earning. So it takes away that fear if the job doesn't work out. But go back to the job trial. Normally, we say normally a week, but it can be as short as a day, and it can be up to 2 weeks, depending on the simplicity or the complexity of the job. What we normally say is normally a week. If it's part-time, we can do it for 2 weeks, or if the job is quite complex and they're not going to get the opportunity to cover all areas of the job in a week, you can do it for 2 weeks. And then at the end of the 2 weeks, the expectation is, if everything's going all right, the person will be employed. If they're not employed for whatever reason, that you've decided enough of them, all we ask is if you let us know, so we can sort of give them constructive feedback and help them sort of move on to what's gone wrong. If it has worked, well, it's great, they would sign off and they would start work. Another scheme we have is work experience. Now, Mike's used this quite a lot, and it's really good for people who either they haven't worked before, they might have been out of work for a number of years for a number of reasons, or it could be they just want to change their career. Now, work experience, there's no expectation for you to employ them at the end of the day. It's not about saying I'm going to take somebody on a 4-week work placement and then I'm going to give them a job at the end of it. If there's a job there at the end of the 4 weeks and you want to employ them, that's great, but we certainly don't sell it as go on work experience and you're going to give them a job at the end of it. Now the benefits for the customer coming along, it's giving them a chance to get a taste of the real world of work. And what we say to you as an employer, if you're offering work experience, treat it as a job, because we sell it to them as it's work experience, but you've got to treat it as a job in as much as you've got to attend on time, comply with reasonable management requests. So what we say is to them and to yourselves is you can ask people on work experience to do any job you would normally ask your paid member of staff to do. So there's nothing out of bounds, but what we do say, especially in the hospitality trade, we closely monitor it. So sometimes some of the not so nice jobs, for example, checking on the toilets and cleaning on the toilets in the bar, taking in turns, because the paid members of staff would do that. We wouldn't expect the work experienced people to be given that to do. So yes, do it as part of the job, because we don't want to see work through rosy-tinted glasses. But for you as yourselves, it's bringing a fresh pair of eyes into your business. It could be, depending on what you're offering, it could be somebody who's a graduate, finished a course, never had any work, and you're able to give them a work placement, and they bring fresh ideas into your business. And I'm sure Mike will bear me out on that, because I've just been talking to Stephen, and these are some of the examples of what work experience people who work from Mike have been, and it's what they've designed and made up.
We've actually had, over the last, what must be pushing on for 3 years now, I've had 13 work placements through the business, and within 4 weeks of leaving me, I think 10 of them had full-time jobs. What I was quite strict on doing though was, I was, and I used to get sick of it, oh God, it's him again now. I was very selective when I would, because what I would say was, look, I've got a particular project I want doing for the business. I'm looking for a candidate that wants some experience but has a little bit of experience already. So that I've had a person through the business that had done graphic design at college and finished college and knew quite a lot about graphic design but needed to build a portfolio. So we got her in. She did some great designs and bits for us. She done all this sort of stuff. She designed the logo. She did all that. We actually gave her a real life project to do. And I think she stayed with us for about 6 or 7 weeks. But she then left here with a portfolio of real-time, live sort of work that she could point people in the direction of and say, look, I actually did that, I did that. And again, I've had research projects. I had a graduate through who'd done a degree in research, and he just left and he hadn't managed to secure a job. So he came to us and did a full research project for us. And again, that's real-time live work for him, but my business benefited from it because he got to work in an office environment in real time and produce a piece of work that then we've used to forward the business. And my commitment to them was that I would sit down with them, I'd talk to them about their CV, about their experience, we'd try and do something and give them some experience in interview techniques and whatever, to try and give them something to go and then secure a job with it. And I think it actually turns out that we had another guy through who, really nice guy, but he'd done sort of chemistry as a degree, and he was, I mean, what he didn't know about chemistry was unreal, but he couldn't. He went to pieces if he had to sit in front of you doing an interview, and when he came to see me, the guy just fell apart. But I said to him, look, you're very knowledgeable, but we need to get around that. So what we did was we built in a weekly meeting with him, so he would leave what he was doing and we'd sit down and concentrate on what he needed to do. You know, so that was my commitment back to him for him doing the project for me. He did some really good stuff for us, and it turns out, although I didn't need anything doing related to chemistry, he had some other skills that we said, well, you know, what we could use those. And it really worked out well, so we got something back as well. And he got something to move on. He actually realised that he had to do some work on interviews, and so we advised him to start going for as many interviews as he can to build up some confidence and experience. And we've had quite a few through. And one of my customers is the Premier Inn Hotels. And when they found out I was doing it, they said, oh, well, we want some of that. So we've had 3 placements now through the Premier Inn. The first chap was offered a job at the end of it, but declined it. The next guy through is, he's actually working there now for them full time. And we've got another one sort of planned. Well, we had another one through, we've got another one planned for them. So they can benefit you, and you know, as well as you benefiting them. So
what we do see, because initially when I first moved into Sunderland, into this role, I've been working with employees most of the time in the job centre, coming into this role, it was quite new. And some of the feedback I was getting from employees, they were saying we weren't offering people placements because they said they weren't very confident, there was no eye contact. And you know, say, you know, now when I come out to see you and talk to you about it, I say potentially you could be the first employee that actually sitting down with you, could be the first employee that ever met. So, you know, yes, they might not have the eye contact, they might not have the confidence because it's a brand new situation, a new role that they're in. And we say, we classes, you know, try before you buy sort of thing, you know, because it's very difficult for somebody to keep up pretense for 4 weeks. It's quite easy for somebody to come over quite well in an hour's interview or a half-hour interview, but you know, if they are putting on a facade, you know, the cracks, sharps start to show through. We can extend it up to 8 weeks, and if you had a person think, well, I could offer an apprenticeship to this person, we can extend it up to 12 weeks. But what we do expect from week 8 to week 12 is you make contact with the apprenticeship service, and we can sort of direct you in the right direction, give you the contact numbers. Now 4 weeks is to allow you to work with the apprenticeship service to get all the paperwork and the training plan put in place. So by the end of the 12th week, it was a seamless service going straight on the apprenticeship. And we just had a recent sort of, we class it as a good news story, a young girl, a lot of anxiety attacks, you know, she was very, you know, no confidence, very shy, and she wanted to work with dogs, and as an employer offered her a placement in a dog groom parlour up Hilton Road, and yeah, no work was offered at the beginning of that, so it was just a placement. The employee saw something in her, and she's took her on, she's got an apprenticeship, and this young lassie's coming on leaps and bounds. So, you know, it's, you know, it works for both, you know, they bring something back into your business, as well as, you know, they're getting something out of it as also. And then the universal credit, as I mentioned briefly earlier, the government has recognised that people who are trapped in what's called the job seekers allowance, because if they sign off, 8 weeks to get everything, all the benefits put back in place. Universal credit, there's no minimum hours. It always used to be a 16-hour rule. Once somebody works 16 hours, you'd be signed off, regardless whether they earned £5 or £1 million. Once that 16 hours was reached, you know, they close the claim down. Now it's not that. They can work any amount of hours they want, and it's all based on the earnings, and there's a taper system put in place, and they can keep 35 pence in the pound. But what the government look at is the claim will always stay live, running in the background while they work with you, and as long as they're earning £960 a month, it'll stay running in the background for 6 months till they've earned that consistently for 6 months. Once 6 months is being triggered, that's when the claim's closed down. The reason it's left running in the background, if for whatever reason, one period the wages drop, universal credit kicks back in and the housing benefit kicks back in, it's all done automatically. You don't need to tell us anything, they don't need to come and say the hours has dropped this week, you don't need to report hours increase and decreases wages. It's all done on a live system through the HMRC pay-as-you-earn system. So you put the wages in on your payroll as you do normally for your normal member of staff, and that the HMR system, your payroll system, links up with the benefit system 3 times a day. So it's real time. So there's no forms to be filled in. Where before there's lots of forms backwards and forwards between yourselves and us, declaring how much people had earned, and we would write out and say, can you confirm that they'd earned this amount this week, and now it's all done automatically for you. So that's sort of the main sort of programs that we offer. We have interview room facilities, we have a group facility, and we have employers come in and we can hold group information sessions for up to 8 people at a time. So if you wanted to do a group session with a group of people, give them information about the company before they apply, do a group recruitment, we can offer you that as well. So Susan's my colleague, and she deals with the people who sort of have disability or sort of health issues, and Susan's going to give you the information of what we can do to support you down that road.
Like Gary, I've been in the department for 30 plus years, and what my role was initially was a disability employment advisor. So everybody who I dealt with had a health condition or disability. Now the government decided to pull that role away a little bit, instead of just having one specific DE in the job centre. What they wanted was all the work coaches to be trained to deal with people who have be trained to support people who have health conditions and disabilities. So I'm classed now as a disability employment consultant. So it's basically what I do is I support the staff in the job centre and give them advice and guidance and case conference with them on as how to support people who have health issues and disabilities, because once up it was just left to myself to do it. And so what I'm doing as well is training the people up in the job centre up until about June, July time, and then we'll be going out and sort of liaising with GPs and occupational therapists, NHS, whoever, the council, everybody like that, businesses, working alongside Gary and our other employer advisors. But what I thought might be interesting to talk to you about, and you may well know already about it, have you heard of access to work? No, yeah. What access to work is, it's the government have been given a lot of money. The government have given a lot of money to the access to work people, and what they do is anybody who is moving into work who has a health issue or a disability, if they need sort of specialised equipment, if they need special desks, chairs, screens, Dragon software for people who have partial sight, basically anything at all that's needed, they can help or they can fund the businesses. So if you take on somebody who has a health condition or a disability and you need something done to you to help this person get into work and stay in work, they can actually sort all of that out for you. So I think, I'm sure, please don't quote us on this, but I'm sure a customer is around £41,000 a year on access to work. And some examples I can give you is one of And it also helps people to stay in work. So if one of your employees is, develops a health condition or a disability, again, we can support them in work. Now, sometimes when they're in work already, the employee is expected to fund a little bit towards that, but that would be sorted out between yourselves and the Access to Work teams. If they're new into your business, then, you know, I think Access to Work will pay for everything up to a certain amount. Just an example of that, I had somebody who, she was actually a social worker who worked for in Sunderland, and she came to see me, this is going back a while, and she was gradually losing her sight, but then all of a sudden her sight just went virtually overnight. And so what Access to Work paid for her was to have a driver who also doubled up as sort of a note taker and typed up all our notes and everything. So she was able to stay in work, and they paid for this person to pick her up, to take her to any of our appointments, type everything up, and so she was able to stay in work. They can do lots of things. So if you take somebody on and say, for example, they might have autism or a learning difficulty, or be on the autistic spectrum, they might need sort of a little bit of job coaching. So what they can do is they can actually pay for somebody to come into your premises and work with that particular employee and train them basically in what you need them to do, so you're not having to pull somebody off to work with this person, and they'll be there to support you for as long as, till that person becomes totally conversant with what the job actually is. So there's lots and lots of help out there that they can do. They can do all, basically, if you have anybody who is an employee now, I managed to get Sunderland Football Club. They're part of something I'm going to talk to you about later, the Disability Confident. And they had somebody who worked with them who had major issues. And what they did was Access to Work went in and they devised a whole new workstation for this person, got her a proper chair, they did loads of different things. They looked at our working hours, they looked at anything like that that could be changed, they put loads and loads of support in place there, and so that person was able to stay in work. Her condition did deteriorate quite quickly, it was like MS, but you know, they can do, no matter how small or how large. I would always advocate that you just get on the phone to Access to Work, or there's an email that you can use. Just go into just Access to Work in Google, through gov.uk, and so you'll be very, very surprised how much help you can get, either for new employees, yourselves if anything happens, you know, if you need any specific equipment or anything, but also for new people coming on board to work for you.
Would we be able to put some of that information out on the newsletter in the next few weeks? Anything that you've got that you to sort of, you know, follow up on what you're going to do?
Yeah, do you do a newsletter, Karen?
We can do a newsletter,
Right.
We can put it in ours if you're happy for us to do that.
Oh
Yeah,
yes,
yes,
yeah. I mean, I've printed off just something off the our intranet about Access to Work, but I didn't know how many was going to be here, so I literally only did 3 copies.
That's okay, well, yeah.
You know, you can certainly have a look and see what you think.
That's okay. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. And yeah, I'm more than happy to put that out because I think it's really valid.
It is, it's excellent. Lots of employees don't know about it at all, and it's really useful to keep people in employment, especially if you've got a good employee who you literally don't want to lose, but who has developed something and they think, right, I'm going to have to leave. You know. Does anybody have any questions on the Access to Work?
Is it time limited?
No, it's not. It'll get reviewed, and if the circumstances changes, you know, they are supposed to let Access to Work know, and that then obviously if they don't need it, say somebody might have mental health issues, might have problems getting to work, they might not be able to walk, they might not be able to drive, they might not be able to get on public transport. So what Access to Work will do will arrange for maybe a taxi to pick them up and take them and bring them back home, but that might be reviewed after say 3 or 4 months. Because that person then might think, right, I'm okay doing that, and confidence is up, and mental health issues have gone. So they will review things like that. But the equipment side of things, that'll be...
Does it take long to put in place? I mean, in an emergency, can it be actioned quite quickly?
I think it can be. What will actually happen is yourself or the employee will ring up that'll be action straight away, obviously the phone call. And then what they'll do, they'll have assessors who will come out to see the employer, and they'll have assessors dropped all over the place, so they'll actually come into your premises and talk to the employer, talk to the employee as well, look at the workstation, and then they'll do an assessment of exactly what's needed. And then they'll have to go away, let access to work know, because these independent assessors are not part of the government, I don't think. And then they'll go away and access to and cost everything up, and let access to work know, and then they'll sort out all of the costings for that. I'm not sure if I have a live chat either. You know, if you have any queries. If you have IT, I'm not very good at IT, but you know, this is the way it's all going now, isn't it?
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you very much for that. Really appreciate it.
And the only other thing is the disability confident, Mike. I don't know if you want us to quickly.
Please, yes, I thought that's important. Yeah, please.
The disability confident, has anybody heard of that? No. Have you heard of the 2 ticks? Disability symbol, the 2 ticks. The 2 ticks used to be awarded by ourselves, Disability Employment Advisors. We would go out to them, to employers like Sunderland Football Club, who came on board with it, and they would sign up to certain commitments. There was 5 commitments then that they had to sign up to. The disability confident has actually changed now, so the 2 ticks has been replaced by what we call disability confident. Disability confident, there's 3 levels, and what you can do, again, it's all on gov.uk, it's dead straightforward. There's level 1 where you just sort of sign up to say, right, look, I'm going to commit myself to this, and again, it's all new, because we don't deal with it now, so I've just had to print stuff off. But basically, with level 1, you just like looking at it and thinking, right, you're self-assessing, and then once you're self-assessed, you'll be given and you've submitted that to the disability confident team. They will then offer you a badge and then a certificate, which means that you're classed as disability confident level 1, and you can put that on all of your marketing material, any of your application forms, on your websites, and it just looks really good, because what it's saying is that you're positive about disability. So it makes your employees think, right, you know, that this is good, so if I do develop a health issue, I'm going to be supported by my employer as well, and access to work if you need the access to work. Then after 12 months you can go to level 2, and all of this is on the website. And level 2, this is where you sign up to the commitments. So some of the commitments are the likes of, right, I'll interview anybody who's disabled who meets the minimum criteria for the job. So if you have somebody have a vacancy on, and a disabled person applies for that vacancy, if they meet the minimum criteria for that job, what you're saying is you'll agree to interview them. If you say, right, I need you to have a driving licence, and they haven't got that, you don't have to interview them. It's only if they meet the minimum criteria. I'm not going to bore you with all of them because they're all on the internet, but you'll help. You sign up to say that you'll retain employees who develop a health condition if you can, if it's what you and the employee both want. Another one is, I can't remember because they've all changed now. Sorry about this, I'll just have a little flip through here. Making sure that all of your training and your interviews, your applications are all accessible to people who have health issues and disabilities, so that, say, if people can't do it online, you could send them out a paper copy of the application form, you know, just something as straightforward as that. Another one you can sign up is flexibility when assessing people. So disabled job applicants have the best opportunity to demonstrate that they can do the job. So just making reasonable adjustments to them. And again, that's where access to work would come in if you needed them to. And to make reasonable adjustments, sometimes they've put ramps in, sometimes they've widened doors, they've done all kinds of things, say, for wheelchair users. So again, access to